in Business Management from Christ College, Bangalore. He joined the London School of Economics for his Masters in International Employment Relationship and Human Resource Development. He also joined the Indian School of Business as a research associate to understand how things work. As I mentioned earlier, he joined NSR's CEL as a person in charge of strategic initiatives, and he intends to transform the NSR CEL into a world-class center for entrepreneurship by engaging with the startup ecosystem in Bangalore and that of the world. Akash also enjoys traveling, watching movies, dancing, and I'm sure he's looking forward to interacting with the students of Sayansi College of Engineering and Management. So without much further ado, I request Mr. Akash to address the gathering.
Good afternoon. It's really nice to see all of you here today, and I would like to thank Mr. Manjuna Bandari and Mrs. Prasanna Bandari for inviting me to come here and talk to the students at Sayansi. I mean, I was on my way from the airport. I was having a conversation with Gautam and ED Labs. He was telling me the kind of work that is happening in your college, and I was really amazed. I've worked with some of the best institutions in the country. The kind of work that is coming out from here is really inspiring. And I'd like to introduce a little bit of about myself and take you through to what the startup ecosystem in Bangalore essentially is. As you said, I studied at Christ College and went to London School of Economics, and I worked with many startups in the past. The one thing that kind of really interested me is the kind of journey that is involved right from the conceptualization of ideas till about seeing a success. The entire process is something that fascinated me and that motivated me to join NSR Cell, where at NSR Cell we mentor close to 300 enterprises every year. And in my current role, I see that number going to 500 and engaging with higher quality enterprises. And first of all, I believe that entrepreneurship does not happen in silos. It's often a result of conversation and serendipity. And today's event is one such opportunity to spark off the entrepreneurial bug in you. And I hope that you set out on your journey. Before we get started, I'd like to just tell you what a startup ecosystem essentially means. Startup ecosystem defines the broader context or environment under which startups function, as simple as that. And this startup ecosystem is typically composed of 5 or 6 elements, namely incubators and accelerators, and we have investors, players in the ecosystem. So, the interplay between all these factors is what a startup ecosystem would compose of. So just to, think it out visually, startups would be in between, and around that would be all these factors that I just, the entrepreneurship cell has been inaugurated, and there's something called as DD Labs that I heard from the team. So the role of an incubator is essentially, as you see on the brochure, you see an egg that's sort of hatching out. The idea is similar to that. You go to an incubator with an idea, and they give you all the facilities to ensure that you come out of it and go to the market essentially. Typically, if you have to look at an incubator, you walk into an incubator, you get a working space, you get some logistical support, and you get access to events, industry events. And also, they kind of ensure that, on a continuous basis, that you're being mentored properly and that your go-to-market strategy is defined. And you want to go to the market, so there is a structured program that runs for about 3 to 6 months, and then you just hit the market. So this is, you have different kinds of motivations behind joining an incubator or an accelerator. Some examples of an incubator would be NSR Cell at IIM Bangalore, or we have something called as Chiron Accelerator. They are also engaging with early stage startups. And of course, there's something called as P-Labs, which is also quite popular, and accelerator program. The next one is that of investors, and these are the guys that startups usually chase for whatever, for the funds. And the investors again, this segment consists of another 3 or 4 players, very important players. The first one being angel investor of anywhere between 5 lakhs to about 1 crore. And this is typically done by a group of investors or a high net worth individual themselves. So the issue with angel investment is that you end up sacrificing a lot of equity in the earlier stages of your venture. Also from their point of view, it's just that they're risking on your team. So it's essentially they bet on your team and your product and they invest this kind of money. So there's a lot of risk in angel investing. As such, there is that payoff between risk and rewards. Angel investors typically exit for in about 2 to 3 years, and they provide something called as seed capital. So if you're just following what I'm saying earlier, you had the incubators where your idea is being developed and you have a sort of product in place. Now you want to go to the market, you need some funds. That's when you go to an angel investor and you get started. So that's the angel investors bit. Some of the names in angel investors are Indian Angel Network and Kiritsu Forum. These are networks that sort of fund seed funding from an angel investor. You now want to raise some money for your expansion. You go to venture capitalists. Venture capitalists invest anywhere between about 1 crore to 300 crores, and depending on the kind of resources that you need. These guys again take up some equity, and that's where most of the founders' equity is diluted in this stage. But I think that's essentially the stage when you become a very high growth firm and you reach this kind of valuations that Flipkart or even Snapdeal for that matter had. This is as far as VCs are concerned. And the next key player in this game are the banks. When I say banks, they not only provide whatever your accounts and all of that, but they also provide features such as payment gateway integration, which is essential in today's e-commerce kind of businesses. The next kind of function that they provide is that of foreign exchange management. So for instance, there was an incubator at IMD and he was planning to export some goods to Europe. And he didn't know where to get started. So we organized an event and facilitated a meeting with bankers. And then they sort of provided, just because they had that connect, they provided this foreign exchange management services, and now he's able to export his goods. So these are places that you could probably reach out to. They also provide loans for medium, small, and micro enterprises. The MSME loans are provided more by the nationalized or the public sector brands, and then the more private banks like HDFC or the Citibank provide the other services that I mentioned. Citibank, for instance, provides something called a Citi Lounge, where startup entrepreneurs can actually interact with other entrepreneurs who are in the system, and you can get some insight. So it's going a little more beyond the regular value add that they have. After this, we have the educational institutions and talent management. These are key kind of components in an ecosystem. And I say this because both of them are interlinked. Education institutions are responsible for sort of training the talent that startups require, and now it's becoming even more challenging given that the kind of business models are not the traditional ones anymore. You require a niche skill set, and that's where the role of education institutions becomes more challenging. And from the startup's point of view, it's really important to attract talent because you being from this engineering college or any other college typically would opt for an MNC job, you go to Infosys, TCS or whatever. But the challenge really for the startups is that people don't want to work for them because there's no real assurance of getting a salary on time or whatever, and secondly, you don't get the visibility or the brand that typically your family expects of you. So that challenge needs to be addressed, and it is to some extent being handled. And even Sayatri, to that extent, I've seen that Gautam was telling me that you you complete your engineering degree and yet you don't know how to fix some basic things that an engineer is expected to know. But you're trying to impart those skills that are really required. I think that's where the real shift in the role of educational institutions is happening.
And he pursued Bachelor of Science from Bombay University. He also completed his MBA in HR and Logistics. He has a working experience of 31 years and now he is self-employed and has been a consulting chief information officer for the past 4 years. He mentors and consults small and medium enterprises, startups and organizations that require business and technology assistance. On the education front, Mr. Ajay is retained by Management and Engineering Institutes in Bangalore as a mentor and counselor for the final year MBA, MCA and BE students as regards their life values, career planning, soft skills build-up, competency mapping, industry verticals, placements, current affairs and other skills required to fill the gap between the student and the employer. As a consulting CIO, some of his works include workflow automation software, infrastructure setup and IT roadmap, a virtual teaching system, student employment and enhancement program, and he also has a contract with an ITES company as a subject matter expert in airlines and telecom. He is also an advisor to the CEO in a 300-strong aviation software product development company. His other areas of expertise include information technology, automation systems, system integration, customized software development, vendor analysis, decisions on technology adoptions, infrastructure, and strategy roadmaps. In the business areas, his expertise includes pricing, revenue management strategy and planning, client acquisition, and...
Is everyone awake? Okay, I think my speech will be much lesser than what he wrote, read about me. Thanks for inviting me. I must tell you, I just had 1 hour meeting with Manjunath Bhandari in Bangalore, and the next thing I find myself is to be here with you. As he said, I'm completely with the corporate world, and last few years I've been mentoring and bringing up startups and all that. Like you heard the VCs and the stretch of angel investors and stuff like that. I would bring in a bit of caution here and permit me to do that. Okay, I think one of the things is to start a business, you need to have some knowledge. For some knowledge, you need to have some education. And I would urge Sachin and everybody else, the helmets that he is thought of, make sure you monetize it. Make sure you get an IP, make sure the world knows that somebody here did it. Okay, I am reminded of one or two, gyan that I heard. Basically there's a Chinese proverb which says, if you don't know where you are, a map will not help. So if I tell you, you take a right to Bangalore, left to Mangalore, whatever, you need to know you are here in this IRA complex. Okay, so make sure you know where you are. The second thing I think I would love to say to you, I think, you come from your parents and this college, your house, you come into the education side, you have faculty and teachers who all the time tell you what's good, what's not good. And now suddenly you find yourself at crossroads out there in the corporate world or in the business world where you are supposed to make decisions of your own. This is a point in time when everyone will tell you what is right, what is wrong. There will be 1,000 guys trying to advise. Just look inside, tell what your heart wants you to do, and that will tell you your success path. One of my clients, it's very interesting. We spoke about money and knowledge. In his, as we entered the reception, he's got the photograph of Sharda, the knowledge. And in another room, he's got Lakshmi. So he said that first I want knowledge, and if knowledge and wisdom comes, money will be waiting at my door. Okay, so I think I like that. And lastly, I think do something disruptive. If somebody starts a restaurant there, it doesn't mean he's going to be successful. Do something disruptive in the sense, mad things, which is going to have social impact on society. At the same time, you make money. Okay, so I think that's, I burned myself 31 years in technology. I started with Hindustan Lever, BPL Mobile, Air Deccan, I was with Alliance and Acharya in Bangalore, advising students. Okay, I think, I wish I was born now, or at least, 15, 20 years, back. I'm 57 years old, so, I'm quite young that way, but I wish I get a chance to interact with you guys more, and all the best on your journey.
Thank you so much, sir. And I request our beloved Principal Dr. U.M. Bushi to give the presidential address.
Honorable dignitaries of the dais, the company at Sayatri, and its own baby. Let us give a very big hand for it. Having done that, your all attending workshop, I wish you will have many more setups down the line and many more dreamers to come for Sayatri. So give a big hand for yourself. I'll not take much time. Education should be window to the outside world, which I commonly speak. That means what you study and what you see outside should go hand in hand. But if you look at Indian education system, probably it's like a black box. You enter in and then come out and then find out where my education is going to be of use. You are in the That is the greatest mistake that Indian education system has done. What we wish is what you study should go hand in hand. Probably with that intent, Chairman's vision, we started with the hands-on experience, and then with later on we went on to do project-based learning, and then something to contribute to the society ultimately because you're living for that. And then the last one was you should become this entrepreneurs. And probably I don't know whether Prasad took away a leaf from my script, because my last statement was any student who enters engineering college first would look in whether there is a placement office, whether there is a training office. And we didn't have any of them when we were studying, and I want that to happen at Sayatri. Down the line 10 years, you should never look into whether Sayatri has got placement cell. I'm not dealing that. My basic purpose of education should be you should end up as great entrepreneurs. And for all that, I'm close with a small instance. I think you must be knowing, you have heard about Masaki Imai, who invented, basically he was the founder of Kaizen. When he came to Mumbai, he went to Taj Hotel, he was called for that. And all Taj employees were feeling, what he can tell you, what is it? Taj Hotel. He is in industry and our industry is different. So he came and there was a workshop being organized. He entered, there was a big seminar hall. The first statement he made was, I have been called for a workshop. Where is the work and where is the shop? In this seminar hall, what can you talk in the workshop? He said, let's close it. I want to be with workshop. So he took all of them to the hotel itself. And he said, first let us move to the first floor. They moved on to the first floor. They saw a wonderful laundry. He said, beautiful. Then one of the large employees said, do you want a Japanese to come and tell that it's so beautiful? Do I want to do that? He said, next statement is very important. Because one thing about Imai Kaizen is not smart. Secondly, his English is poor. Okay? We have got such a person who does not know English, who is smart, not smart, to tell that our hotel is beautiful. He said, this is not meant for what's called as ironing or anything. This is a beautiful location meant for one of the VVIPs. So he said, shift this laundry shop immediately. Nobody had thought about it. And then he said, they said, sir, we noted down, we'll take. No, he said, no. No question of noting down. You are not here in a seminar, you are in a workshop. We want this to happen. By the time I come back down, this should be made ready as a guest room for VIP. I want to stay in. Immediately, that laundry was shifted. He went to the kitchen. Lot of plates were there in the waste basin. He immediately removed his shirt, started washing the utensils. They said, sir, stop, what are you doing? You are a pest for us. He said, kitchen you are entering and the basin is meant for keeping plates. This one is full. That means you have got excess space. So immediately he said, the entire excess space should be given to another shop. By the time he finished his workshop, he only meant one thing. You have to get into action. We are all good at thinking and it all ends up as thinking. If you can get into action, probably we will have many dreamers as well. Thank you very much.
Okay, first of all, I'm not prepared. So, I take this privilege to propose a word of thanks. Firstly, this workshop wouldn't have been possible without the constant support and guidance of our chairman, Dr. Manjunath Mandari. But we have the secretary of Mandari Foundation, Mrs. Prasanna Mandari. Thank you for making me more valuable. I also like to thank our respected principal who always gives us the words of wisdom, and it also always keeps us driving forward. Our vice principal, dean, staff, teaching and non-teaching staff, and all my friends for having gathered here. We have announced as Mr. Ram Mohan. Your presence has filled our crowd with enthusiasm. Thank you, sir, for sparing your time to be with us. I request our principal to present the memento as a token of our respect. I also like to मुझे पहले कमाई हुए नशा के बारे में मालूम नहीं, लेकिन आपकी बातों की नशा तो आपने हमसे अभी कर चुकी है. Thank you, sir. We will expect more from the sessions coming forward. I also like to thank Mr. Akash for being with us. Your experience that you have worked at different places, it is all supposed to be the key impetus for our growth. We'll be expecting more from you in the next session. Thank you. I also like to thank Ajay sir for all the thought-provoking words you have said. There are many crazy people among us here, but I'm sure your words will create more mad acts in our college. Thank you, sir. In and around Bangalore. This is going to happen when we have the press along with us. So I extend a heart, I thank the press for being here, for being a part of this session, making it a more successful event. Thank you. I know you're all expecting when I should thank you, because I've put some of you inside the workshop. Some faces are grinning there, and some faces are very serious looking at me. You come outside, I'll see you. But then I'm sure that you would definitely think after coming to this workshop, it was worth giving a shot. I thank all of my friends for being a part of this session, and I expect your help and for all the guidance that you have given. Okay, I might miss many people here, but I'm certain that I should thank Girish sir, Ramesh sir for guiding us in the entire process of organizing the workshop. Professor B.N. Karkera for guiding us in the process. One and all. I request all the students to